Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We're I'm finished with the Rye Whiskey Taste Challenge series, and that was not much of a challenge because Knob Creek Rye ran through it undefeated, and none of the other rye whiskeys could compete. Honestly, they could not. This one should be a lot more challenging. And today, and I'm going to be doing Nelson's Green Brier versus all the other bourbons I have. But today I have Evan Williams Green Label, they call this. People call it the Green Label. With gold and white trim, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, sour mash. They're both sour mash, charcoal filtered. And they're both charcoal mellowed. I need to put that in the notes. Now the Evan Williams might be charcoal filtered after aging. The Nelson's Green Brier uses that Lincoln County process where they drip it through charcoal and then they age it. It doesn't claim to be straight Tennessee whiskey. However, if you notice, it just says Tennessee whiskey. So, well, if you read your specifications carefully, that would indicate that it could have flavoring added. Could be tweaked with a little natural flavor and could be colored with caramel coloring. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that that would be within the realm of legality. Yes, it's called Tennessee whiskey. They don't call it a bourbon, but it's still a bourbon. But it's got a following, and I mean, people buy it. I see it around. It's usually running close to $30. Close to $30. I don't know why Walmart had it for 10. I didn't go up to the counter and ask them, is this correct? $10? I just bought it. $10 rang up. So I got it. Full size bottle. Like one time, my friend Tom says, you talk too much, because one time a university called me on the phone and they said, you're supposed to get this $1,500. You've been teaching this college class. I said, what? They said, yeah. I said, but I'm teaching that just as a class, during the high school day, because it was because in Louisiana, you can take college classes while you're still in high school, starting in 11th and 12th grade. So you can earn a lot of college credit before you ever graduate, maybe a whole year worth if you play it right. And the lady's like, well, you're using your planning period to teach that class, so that's extra work when you should be planning. I said, wait a minute. I don't teach that class during my planning period. I teach it just during whatever second period. She said, really? I said, yeah. Oh, that's not how anybody else does it. I said, well. So my friend Tom said you could have gotten the $1,500. I said, yeah, but what if the state audits? And they look into it and they say, hey, wait a minute, what's up with this? And I didn't feel right about it. Secondly, so I didn't get the money. I said, if they audit it and they see that it wasn't during planning period, which they probably would never do, but if they did, I'd have to pay it back. And hey, I just turned it down. But anyway, just an example. All right. So Evan Williams Green Label, doesn't appear that it's sold in too many states. And I noticed that Heaven Hill has now revamped their whole website, because their website used to look kind of old, but it wasn't, it didn't look real old, but they used to have product specification where you could click on that, pick the category, for instance, bourbon, and it would show whatever bourbons they made and tell you what format it was in, like bottle sizes, how long it was aged, stuff like that. And that was helpful, I guess, for distributors. I don't guess the average person off the street would ever look at that. But they took that off the website. So now all these off-the-wall brands that they make, you're not going to see it listed because they don't, they don't talk about those. But they're out there, believe me, like Kentucky Deluxe, stuff like that. But you go to the Evan Williams website. I'll show it to you. Well, let's look at the products first. Daylight is coming in to play here. That's why I call it Dawn Busters. But it's just a little bit of daylight. When I was walking, it was a little while ago. I was walking. It was pretty dark out there. Okay, so the Nelson's Green Brier is darker. It's more copper, right? Is this the right one? Yeah. And the Evan Williams is pretty light gold, amber gold. Aged, but it's actually aged longer. This is aged 3 years. The Nelson's Green Brier is aged only 2 years, which would allow it to be called straight whiskey. Aged 2 years in new charred oak. Has to be new charred oak barrels because that's the rule for Tennessee whiskey, state law. Has to be mostly corn, which it is, state law. Any bourbon in the United States has to be 51 or higher percent corn. Could be blended with other whiskeys, corn, rye whiskey, malted barley whiskey, as they call it in Scotland, single malt, wheat, if they want to make a wheated bourbon. And these are both sour mash. They use a sour mash priming process, but they don't claim straight. And that's making me think they know why it's not straight. They know. Now, do I care if they're adding a little bit of natural flavoring? Honestly, I don't care. If it tastes good, hey, it tastes good. But it would be nice to know, just to have the full information. But a lot of times it's not what they say. Like William Kepley said, it's what they don't that kind of keys you in on. Now, here's the locator tool. You can type in your zip code or whatever and see if they have it. So I got the green. No stores. I'm typing in New Orleans zip codes. 7012. KJ. Okay, now KJK. Discount store on Gretna Boulevard in Gretna. I'm not familiar with that store. Might be a liquor store. I don't know. Might be new. But they're claiming they've got it. All right. And not far from there, I know of a store that's trying to get rid of it, or at least they were. It might be all gone now. But they have a liter for $9 even. Talking about the green label, $9. And the guy told me it's discontinued. Well, clearly it's not discontinued. Site showing it available at JK discount store. But it might only be sold in bottles these days. But there's the black label. They show the black, the famous Evan Williams that it gets. They show the bottle and bond, the famous white label that most everybody gets. This is 1783, which is pretty common. I mean, Walmart sells it by the bushel barrel, even with that special edition, red, white, and blue, American Heroes edition. Evan Williams single barrel, which disappeared during the scandemic, but it's back. You can get it. Runs about $40. I can get it right here in my local town, but I never wanted to lay that money yet for it. Then they have Kentucky exclusives. You can only get these in Kentucky. High rye, wheated, another high rye. 6 square 6. Don't know anything about them. And then there's, which are so popular, the honey, apple, peach, berry, fire, cinnamon, fireball type thing. During the Christmas time season, eggnog, most stores sell that. And most stores sell at least one of the flavors. They usually won't stock them all, but they'll sell one or two, at least one. Now here's Nelson's Green Brier. The distillery was established in 2009, but they didn't start putting, they had to age the stuff and get it built and running it up and running. So this came out in 2014, 11 years ago. And I've been seeing it for a while. You can see it's won awards last year and won a gold medal at the Bartender Spirits Award competition, Spirit Awards. Won double gold at TAG Global Spirits Award. I'm not familiar with TAG. platinum at the Ascot Awards. I think that's pretty well known. I don't know about it, but so 91 proof. Then there's taster notes, but I never can remember those things. Yeah, so not rare. If you bought it at Walmart, that's telling you it's not rare, right? Okay, Matthew Lee, up early or late? No, up early. A.M. in California almost. Oh no, Wade picked up the Evan Williams and mixed with Coke Zero. Just not. Oh, Coke Zero. Well, I like the Evan Williams idea. Coke Zero idea, I don't like the regular Evan Williams. Yes, okay value. It is a great value, actually. Now they don't make now there's a store close to New Orleans called International Market, and they still got the tag on the shelf, $4.99 for this half size bottle. So that's $9.98 for a full size. But like I said, I know one store that had the liter for $9. I just didn't need any more bourbon, so I passed on it. I can't buy everything, you know. I've had enough Evan Williams Green Label to satisfy me, but I think that shelf's going to stay empty because it's not going to come back anymore in this format. So they're probably going to just pull the tag and put something else there. And I've got almost this whole bottle this will last year. So yeah, that's enough of that. All right. Could Evan Williams, which is a third of the price. 11 times 3 is 33. And you might find Nelson's for 33, but I wouldn't pay that. I'd look around because you might see it for 28, 29. So I would shop around. Okay. And away we go. I don't know who has the advantage here. I know Evan Williams clearly is in the lead before I even smell it because of the price. If I could save $20, you know, and they don't taste much different, I'm going to go with the one that's cheaper. That's just me. That's sensible, right? That should be for any food or beverage product. You're buying two products that are comparable, maybe not exact, but comparable. Why are you paying more? Just because it's a brand name? You're embarrassed to have it at your house? If your neighbor complains or your guest says, what is this cheap brand of macaroni and cheese packet? You say, well, you need to be buying Kraft or Aunt Kate's or whatever that gourmet brand is. You say, well, how about you buy it then? You know, you buy it for me if it's that big of a problem. Yeah, it smells like ordinary, you know. No, mine smells ordinary, just like regular old brand bourbon. I almost said brandy. More aromatics here. There's more happening here. And it does have a little bit of that minerality, that vitamin, Flintstone vitamin that you get with the Dickel. So that's making me think Nelson's Green Brier on the jump. But let's go with the taste. It is, after all, a taste challenge. Regular old bourbon, kind of watery, only 80 proof, you know. I got so corrupted by the Knob Creek Rye 100 proof that now if I drink 80 proof, it tastes watery to me. But I actually prefer 80 proof bourbons because I'm a lightweight. I don't weigh a lot. I don't drink a lot, regardless of what my friend David says. You say often, yeah, but a lot. Well, that depends. If you talk to the U.S. government, yeah, because they think more than one drink a day is a lot. Like if you drink 2 beers a day, oh, that's excessive. Then they're giving these children starvation diet recommendations for their school lunch, you know. Oh, well. All right. Obviously higher proof. Does the proof make a difference, 91 versus 80? Yeah. I have to say it does. Not really picking up the Flintstone vitamin. This camera doesn't like to stay focused too much. It has ADHD. Um, which logo do I prefer? Well, I do like the classic Evan Williams, like that traditional bourbon kind of Jack Daniels knockoff label. Because after all, this came out in 1957. It's pretty obvious who they were kind of copying from, right? It's not a blatant copy, but it ain't too far from it. It's all like writing, no pictures, just like some trim work and writing. The old way they used to do whiskey bottles, always just right. Now, Nelson's is a recreation of the old 1909 bottle. Because the distillery went out of business before Prohibition. Well, Tennessee had enacted Prohibition, so they just shut down. And now it's a re-up. But they tried to mimic, to a large extent, the old bottle, which is also mostly writing, fancy writing, kind of turn of the century writing with the trim, the ivy and so forth. So it's very nice. I don't know which one I like more. Maybe the Nelson's is a little nicer, a little prettier. It look like wallpaper. All right. So can I say that the Nelson's has a better flavor? I would not say that. It has a different flavor, but to say a better flavor, I'll be reluctant to say that. Is this one a mixer? I guess probably $9 for a liter. At a look, like I said, I bet if I went back to that liquor store, it's probably all gone, But I might lose that bet. Didn't look like it was flying off the shelves. But like I say, I'm not buying it. The last thing I need is more bourbon, believe me. I don't know how I'm going to get through what I got. Seemed like it would take a lifetime to get through all the bourbon I have, and maybe it will. And that's not a joke. The Scotch, yeah, I got enough. I have a manageable amount. Irish whiskey, manageable amount. Canadian whiskey, manageable amount. And all the rest, brandy, rum is a little bit out of control. Rum and tequila, I went a little buck wild on that. But why not? I found it for so cheap. So if you're going to sell a $38 bottle of Hornitos for $10 at Walmart, yeah, I'm buying it. And I know nothing about it. I've heard good things about Hornitos. People say it's good. And I've had their Black Barrel, which is aged in that charred oak and is very smoky and charred. Yeah, that's awesome. But so, yeah, you see these prices, you just can't resist. All right. Last chance. I would mix it, but I don't do mixed drinks anyway, except for my mix-up videos. But I never use bourbon in a mix-up. I always use vodka. See, like vodka is like a great mixable product, but because it's neutral. I'll give it an A. Really, you say, nah, you're crazy, you're going mad. No bourbon whiskey that was $9.98 for 750 milliliters is an A. Let's be real. Well, it is. You could speak, so, some people like to slag on Evan Williams just because of the price point. I don't know if they really give it an honest assessment. Try tonic water for the next mix-up review. Oh no, Virgil. I got that. I don't know. It seems like I never get rid of that vodka that I've got. It seems like it's going to last a lifetime also. That Kamchatka, that's a big bottle. But I didn't pay a big price. Okay. Good. I say 9.3 out of 10, a winner. But like I said, the distribution is minimal. You can barely find it around New Orleans. You saw I typed in 3 zip codes or 2 zip code. 3 zip code, found it in 1. So here or there, you might find it. Now, I think most states can't get it. The green label here. Texas, I've never seen it in Texas. They get the green label Jack Daniels, though, which most states can't get. Fever Tree has some excellent soft drinks. Yes, that's what Elbow 88 was saying. Kentucky, yeah, if you go to Kentucky, they got Evan Williams Green Label in every store. But, that's where it's made. That's the home state. Black Label Evan Williams, everybody got. Every liquor store in America is going to have it. 86 proof, aged, I think 4 years, something like that. Solid product. Does it rival Jack Daniels? Yeah, and it's cheaper. A good deal cheaper. So why buy Jack Daniels? That's what I wonder too. Why would I buy it? They're both, it's like, oh, yeah, but Jack Daniels is famous. Yeah, I know. And if you feel like you need to pay extra for a name, then you do that. You pay extra for the name. You can buy Crown Royal and pay $23.99, and I can find Rich and Rare Reserve and pay $9.99. And some people think it beats Crown Royal. I don't actually subscribe to that theory, but it rivals it. It's definitely not worse. Look at the money you're saving. It's the same thing with beer. Some people roll their eyes and look down on a person buying a 30-pack of Natural Light. Oh, look at him, Natural Light. Everyone knows that's a cheap brand. I buy Bud Light. Okay, so you're paying a lot more for the 30-pack. But what are you getting? Marginally better flavor, if it's better at all. So you haven't gained anything. Now, Nelson's Green Brier is another winner, but it's not like fantastic or anything like amazing, but it's still, I say 9.3. I think I gave it a higher score in the solo review, but I don't recall. But good product, especially if you find it for $10 like I did. True story. I'm not doing that to brag. I'm not saying that to brag. It's a reality. It happened. And it was unexpected. I went to Walmart, wasn't looking to buy anything, and I see. And that was a crazy day because they had like 5 products for $10, 5 different briars. Nelson's Green Brier, $10. They had what they had that Hornitos Cristalino, $10, and a bunch of other stuff. I was like, man, Walmart went crazy today. So I paid like $50, and I got 5 full-size bottles of products that would cost me hundreds of dollars if I'd have paid the full amount. So you keep doing this, Walmart, and I'll keep patronizing, because just last week, 2 weeks ago, I bought that bourbon cream from Ezra Brooks, $9.50. That is definitely not the normal price. They got Johnny Walker High Rye, which is $30 in every store. Every store. They got it for $20.27. So you're saving $10. Because I think most store got it for $30.99. You see, not 30 even. So I can't figure it out. All right, so I didn't even check the labels. I'm talking about which one's which. Now, didn't I just put these down? I just transferred them right from, I slid them over. I didn't mix the bottles up. This thing is saying Green Brier. That can't be right. Let me double check, because now I'm confused. Very confused. No, and it's not an excuse to drink more. I'm trying to nurse it anyway, so I could go forever on Taste Challenge. And I know I'll never find another bottle for no $10. That's a reality. That's a guarantee. Okay. Yeah, okay. I did mix them up when I put them down, because that's clearly the one I tasted to my right. Yeah, it's got a little bit more body, a little more charred oak, a little more present. I'll go with a 9.4. It's not the same. 9.3, 9.4, but big deal, 1 percentage point. So are both of these a winner? You best to believe it. They're both winners. Y'all take care. Hey, Burley Sullivan, cheers back to you. All right, so Nelson's Green Brier wins only by a little bit in flavor, but on price point, it gets killed. Gets killed on price point. All right, y'all take care. Versus Evan Williams, I'm talking about. Y'all take care. Bye bye.